All right, so I am going to now start going in and finding some of these other lighter and darker values. I'm noticing there's this bright red color, and then on top of it looks like to be a highlight. So I'm going to work with my larger areas that are layered underneath some smaller details first, and then I can do that detail on top. Now, if you work in the opposite way where you're like, okay, I'm going to do some of my smaller details and then I'll add my bigger pieces next, that's fine. Just realize that you might have to sort of adjust the order of those shapes. And I'm just eyeballing and guessing. This is a very funky looking shape. It doesn't need to be super precise. I just kind of eyeballed where I found, oops, transparent there, paint bucket. That gives me the fill color. I just eyeball where I saw that color. And instead of guessing where this gets placed on here, especially when you start getting some smaller details, you might want to see your original image so you know exactly where to place it. So I'm going to click the area around my shape because I know that this is my image that I'm working on. Right click, order, and then bring to front. And then here's the keyboard shortcut right here, Control Shift up arrow. So I can do Control Shift up. And now I have a better idea of where to place this shape. Let me just show you what happens when you don't hold down Shift and you go to move your stuff. You can see that I can kind of adjust it up and down. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to Shift, slide, and just by looking at the outline, I can see if I'm accurate or not. And now I'm not going to see my shape anymore because remember, we just moved this to bring it to the front. So now I can do the opposite, Control Shift down key, and move it to the back. Playing with this image and changing the order of it does help out as you're working just to accurately place your shapes. And again, you can also right click, order, and then bring to front, bring to back, all of those things. Bringing forward is just bringing forward one layer, and send backwards is just one layer. Whereas if you want the whole thing moving all the way to the front, that's bring to front, or send it back all the way to the back. All right, so now I'm going to go in and do some of my highlight areas. And then I'll maybe add a few more shadows, and I'm going to consider this done after that. So not too much more to go. I'm going to work on those pieces, again, in the Polyline tool shape. Just clicking every time I click around a shape. Oops. See, and I forgot to close that off, so that's my bad. Control Z, undo. Let's try that again. So make sure that you are making enclosed shapes. Unless you need to make lines, you can always add lines. I know it's an enclosed shape when it changes to that default color. And this, let me see. So I actually just clicked to make that transparent so I can see what color I need to change it to. I wouldn't call this white. I'm going to call that almost like a lighter red, almost pink color. Okay. And then escape, shift, and slide over. Again, I'm eyeballing this one, but just as we had done before, if you need to bring this image forward so that you can see where this lines up, you could totally do that. So I'm going to show that one more time, where I click that image, Control, Shift, up arrow is the keyboard shortcut, or you can right click, say bring to front. And now I can see exactly where this needs to get placed. So hold down Shift, slide over until my outline is exactly where I need it. And then I can Control Shift down and send it to the back. Okay. I'm going to just kind of quickly work to finish these last few details. Just remember, every time you are clicking, you are making a point. I'm going to make this one a lighter green. no outline. And then anytime you need to adjust your points, left click. So I double clicked with my left clicker, and then that gives me those purple points to adjust as needed. Making sure to hover over them and adjust as you go. Cool. So you can see just by even adding a lighter green onto my leaf, it gives it that more 3D look. I left a little bit of that dark green showing just because I'm really observing and noticing that that is apparent in this picture where it goes from dark to kind of lighter to dark again. Again, you're the artist, so however you're wanting to stylize your piece, that's totally up to you. So I'm gonna outline this one, and I'm noticing this is even lighter than that. So let's see. Yeah, I would say that's even a shade lighter than what I did the other highlight in. So I'm gonna make it super light pink. It's not quite white. Escape, shift, and slide over. This I'm just gonna eyeball. I see it's really close to the edge. And then I'm noticing there's even some more white on top of that. So maybe I go back in. And again, you can be as detailed or as simple, and this is really small. So what I can do is zoom in. Control Alt plus. And yes, you can do that while you're in the middle of making a shape. Just be careful not to click on your screen. And it's okay if you do click on your screen and accidentally make a line you don't mean to. Just press the escape key and you can start over with your polyline tool shape. So I'm going to make that white. Control Alt minus to zoom out. Escape to select, and shift to slide. You can see just by adding even an extra shape layer on top of that lighter pink color, even more dimension. And I can do something similar to this shape if I wanted to maybe bring out some later highlights. All right, last three things I'm going to make are a darker shape here. I'm going to layer that underneath my leaf and my stem, a highlight, and then I think I'm just going to add one more dark value right here, just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension so it doesn't look so flat in this spot. If you feel like you understand what you're doing up to this point, again, you're the artist. You do not need to follow exactly every single mouse click that I am doing right now. But the main thing is just kind of eyeballing, finding some of these values on your shapes, and then giving them an outline, kind of figuring out where they need to be placed. So I'm going to go to transparent. I'm noticing this is actually really dark, a lot darker than what I originally thought it was. So I'm going to go all the way down to this super dark red. The detail you add, the more dimension your piece is going to have. So right now here, I can see that I already need to move this layer back. So again, you can right click, order, and I don't want to send it to the back because if I send it all the way to the back, it's going to move all the way behind my original image, but I do need to send it backwards. And I might have to do that a few times. So Control down key until I can see my leaf. Maybe I'm going to make that not so dark. Let's go one more. Nope, see, now that matches. So sometimes this is just a matter of trial and error. I might even want to make my stem a little bit darker, and this is as dark as that color is without making it black. So I'm going to go to custom colors and just adjust that to make it an even darker value, just so it stands out a little bit more. So again, I want to click on my shape, press the little plus sign, custom colors, and you can change the hue, meaning the original color, and then change the value by going up for lighter values and down for darker values. Okay, Control Z to undo because I didn't actually want that to be navy. All right, so I would say about maybe 3 more shapes added, and then I think I'm good. So I'm going to do this highlight here, darker value here, and then maybe one more highlight here just because I'm feeling fancy.